welcome back to my channel. I am so excited because number one, we just hit 10K on YouTube, okay, you guys? I know I've been missing for a little bit, but my wisdom teeth, I literally took out all four, so I've been struggling for the past week, okay? But we're back, and I'm just so excited, of course, with 10K and the new Dior concealer, okay? If you guys watch my videos, you guys know how much I love the Dior Backstage Foundation. I wear this foundation all the time. You guys can attest to that because literally every video I have this in there because I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's just my favorite, okay? But they do have their Dior Backstage Concealer that dropped. I ordered this straight from Dior because Sephora doesn't have it yet, and the packaging, number one, you guys, I don't know if you can see it, but it's so stinking cute. It has a nice bow on top right here, and just the whole packaging. I love this. So I'll get into it, show you guys all of that good stuff in a little bit, but make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I am so excited. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So let's open this. I can show you guys what it looks like. I'm so excited because I've been waiting for this to come in. And it comes in this cute pouch. Like, I am just like, I know my light's gonna blind it, but it is the cutest thing ever. Dior, like, I'm gonna start ordering from you guys, okay? So this is what the concealer looks like in the packaging. Let's go ahead and open that. I do wanna point out, I got the shade 4W because my foundation shade is 5N. I could have got the concealer that, you know, matched it perfectly in the shade 5N as well, but I wanted something a little bit brighter. So I went with the shade down from that, and it's looking a little light, you guys. I don't know if y'all can see that. It looks a little bit too light, but we're gonna make it work. All right, so let me see how much I pay for this in case you guys are wondering. I think I remember it wasn't too expensive. So it looks like I paid about $29 for this, so that's pretty good. Because I just thought they were gonna go ahead and push the price a little bit because it is Dior, but for $29, I still love that price. So this is the shade 5N, okay, for the foundation. And then this one is in the shade 4W. I think it will be a great highlight. I mean, when I took it out first, it did look a little bit too light, but compared to my other concealers, I think this is probably a really good shade. But let me go ahead and swatch it just in case you guys are wondering. And also the good thing about this concealer is it does have a brush head. In case you guys are wondering, it doesn't have the typical applicator when it comes to concealer. So I really do like this. And on the back of my hand, oh, it's not as bad. Okay, all right, good. I thought it would be super light, like stark white, but this is a good color. It actually reminds me of my Pat McGrath concealer, which you guys know I love so much. So this is a good shade so far. So before I go ahead and apply it on my face, I do want to read the claims on here. So it's actually called the Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer, and it's supposed to be high coverage, have a natural glow finish, crease proof, and also waterproof. So that's a lot of claims on there, and I will test all of that for you guys. So first, let's go ahead and apply the foundation in the shade 5N. I always shake it because it is a little bit watery. And in case you guys haven't tried this foundation, it's really good because number one, it is lightweight, a little bit runny, but then also if you do have oily skin, it gives you a very nice matte finish, but it's not super drying on the face. I hope that makes sense. Now, even though it is liquidy, it gives you a little bit of coverage as well, which I really like because I don't really like full coverage foundations, you guys. I don't know why. I really want my skin to look like skin. So with this one, it's a happy medium because it's lightweight, but it gives you coverage at the same time. So this is the shade 5N. And y'all can tell why I love it because it matches my face perfectly. I'm gonna blend really softly around my jaw because I'm in so much pain, you guys. Even though it's been about 7 days, it still hurts because I got my wisdom teeth taken out. So we're gonna blend gently. And one thing I do want to talk about while I blend this out, so I was scrolling on Twitter yesterday and people were going in on the comments. There's a post on Twitter, and basically it was saying that, you know, people do not apply foundation on their forehead. And I didn't know that was a thing. And so I was kind of confused, and I read the comments and I saw the reason why. And it's because some people say it looks really cakey on here. It creases, all of that. But for me, you guys, what I do is I go ahead and take a very small amount that's kind of left over on the sponge, and I just blend like this. I really don't put a lot of foundation on the forehead. All you need is a little bit. And then I also saw some people mention that their edges is a big problem of why they don't like to put foundation on their forehead. But a tip I do have for that is go ahead and do your edges first, and then let it set, of course, and then apply your foundation on top. Because trust me, back in the day, I used to go ahead and apply my foundation, and then I would try to do my edges, and it would just look so cakey. It would have foundation in the edges. It never looked good. So all I do is do my edges first, and then apply a little bit of foundation on top. And that's it, y'all. It always works for me. So now that I blended it out, y'all can see why I love the foundation. It really looks like skin, makes you look flawless, but it doesn't feel heavy as well. I am obsessed with it. So what we're gonna do before we apply the concealer is bronze the face. I'm gonna use my Hourglass Espresso Vanish Foundation Stick just to add a little bit of color. And so I usually do this first before I apply my concealer. I don't know why, but I just do. But I really love this shade because you guys know I've been on a hunt for a good, you know, bronzer or foundation stick. But I call it a bronzer. But this one just looks so beautiful every time I blend it out. So time for the concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it on my face. I'm gonna start off with one section first because you never know concealers, if it dries down fast or what happens. So to be on the safe side, I'm gonna start off with one side and just go that route. So it is light, but it's not terrible, okay? So we're gonna start off like this and see what this looks like. Starting with that little bit, I'm just gonna blend this out and see what this feels like. Okay, so it does dry fast. Thank God I started off with one section, but it does dry down really fast. So I'm gonna blend this out and see what it does. Okay, ducks, y'all have to kind of work a little bit faster than I thought. And I really don't like that when it comes to concealers. I like to take my time. So with this one, because I already know it's not gonna give me that time, we're gonna have a problem. So I blend the concealer as much as I could. You can kind of still see where I couldn't blend out because it dried down so fast. And so that lets me know, yes, it is crease proof, waterproof, all of that. But at the same time, like, I need a little bit of time to blend. Okay. And then also because I was struggling so much to blend it out, it didn't give me as much coverage. I don't know if y'all can tell, but like, I mean, it looks a little bit highlighted, but not as highlighted as I usually look. So let's go ahead and try this again. And we're gonna blend fast this time. So put some here, put some there. All right, and then let's blend. Yeah, you have to work really fast. And the consistency, so I thought it would be super liquidy. It has a little bit more, how do I say this? It's not a gel like concealer. I mean, it kind of feels like it once you blend it out. It applies kind of watery, but when you blend it out, it kind of gives you that gel effect. So I hope that makes sense. But when you do blend it out fast, you guys, I actually kind of like it. Yeah, it looks really good. It kind of feels like my Pat McGrath one. The Pat McGrath one's a little bit thicker, but this one kind of feels the same without gel-like. I hope that makes sense. So after I blended it out, I don't know how I feel about it yet, you guys, because sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh, give me coverage. But then sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh, I could add a little bit more concealer. So when it comes to under eyes, I don't like piling on product. I just want one good layer and that's it. With this one, you'll probably have to go in probably 2 to 3 times to get the coverage that you're looking for. So this is what it looks like after 2 layers. Let's go ahead and try the other side. Now that I know how to go about it, I'm just gonna blend it out really fast. So we're gonna apply some here and then to the outer corner. And let's blend fast. Okay. All right, so yes. To confirm my theory, you guys just go ahead and blend this fast. Do not let this sit on your face at all because you're gonna have a hard time. So when me blend this side faster than the other one, it looks a little bit more even right now compared to the other side when I let it set in those 2 places that I applied it. This side looks a little bit better. With 1 layer, it gives you a little bit of coverage, but I still need to add a little bit more because it is very skin-like. So I'm gonna go in with a 2nd layer, which I typically never do, but I'm gonna have to today, and then blend this out again. So like I said, when you apply it, it feels a little bit watery, but when you blend it out, it does have like that gel-like consistency, like the Pat McGrath concealer, the Fenty concealer. It feels just like that, and it almost feels a little bit sticky too as well. So that lets me know it is going to be, you know, waterproof, crease proof, all of that. So it does have that effect. So one thing I do want to point out is it does claim to be crease proof, but when I go ahead and look at this under eye, it's already creasing really bad. So when it comes to concealers, they always say crease proof, but if you do have any sort of lines underneath your eyes, it's always gonna crease unless you set it right away. So just letting you guys know that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not obsessed with it so far. It looks good, a lot better than I thought. It does give me a highlight, of course, but I feel like you really have to work with this. So let's go ahead and blend this quickly. So I apply the concealer in all the areas that I typically go ahead and highlight. So this is what it looks like. It looks very skin-like, okay? I get the whole thing because the Backstage Foundation is very skin-like. It's not too heavy on the face, very lightweight. So they kind of went that route with the concealer, but with my concealer now, I love coverage, okay? Because the dark circles, dark spots, all of that, I want to cover for sure. With this one, you have to go in with so many layers, and it doesn't look terrible. I'm just not like, whoa, I love it. But there's 2 things. So when it comes to concealers, there's how I feel about it when you blend it out. But then now I want to see what it looks like once I set my under eyes, okay? Because my powder will let me know if this concealer is not going to work because it will look really patchy, you know, all of that. So let's go ahead and blend out the under eyes first because it is creasing already. And let me see if it undoes that. Okay, so it does blend out the creases. So let's do that first. And then I'm going to take some powder and then press it into the skin. I'm not going to bake today, you guys. I'm just going to set that under your eyes and see what this looks like. So with just setting the under eyes, you guys, I will say it looks really smooth, really flawless, okay? And I still look highlighted. So I like the way it looks with the powder. I will say that once you go ahead and set it. Typically on my forehead, y'all can see the concealer and where I highlighted, but it doesn't look like I applied anything up there. It kind of just like disappears into the skin. So we're gonna add some powder up here. Hopefully that helps with bringing back some highlight into that area. But the skin looks good. I will say it looks good. It's just with the concealer, you have to, of course, work with it a little bit more. But with powder, I can't complain. So I have my foundation on the face, concealer, I set my under eyes, all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my face, and I will be back with my final thoughts on this concealer and how I feel about it. And also part of me wants to kind of do a wear test for you guys, but I already know when it comes to concealers, you know, how it's going to perform throughout the day. I just usually know right away. So we'll see with that part, but give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I'm back with my full face, and this is what it looks like up close. I did try to use more natural lighting for you guys today. That way you can get a good idea of what concealer looks like in real life. But with the Dior concealer, I've sat on it, I've thought about what to say, and I'm kind of in between, okay? I don't hate this concealer. It's not the worst concealer I have tried out there. There's a couple things I do like. Number one, I love the packaging. I love how it matches the foundation. I love the shade as well. Even though the shade looked a little bit light at first, it did work out, of course. And then also, I do love the wand because it is a brush, so it kind of makes it a little bit of a different experience, and it does apply a good amount of product as well. You don't have to keep going back and dipping in for more and more. It pulls out a good bit of product. And I also do kind of like how it feels when you do blend it out. It has that gel-like consistency that I love when it comes to concealers, okay? So those are all the main points about this. Really like all those things about it. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to my makeup, I like to sit here and take my time and not feel rushed and not feel stressed. I will say, you know, while using this concealer, I felt a little bit stressed because it was drying so fast. I'm trying to blend it out, trying to make sure it looks good. Then I have to go in with a couple more layers because I blended out too much of the product, and then you can't even see it anymore. So it was just, it felt like a lot going on, and I don't like that because I love doing my makeup. It's very therapeutic to me. And with this one, I felt like I was in a rush, okay? And then also as well, with this, I will say it kind of looks a little bit patchy, all right? Because you are trying to blend it out so much, that way it doesn't set. But then when you do that, it kind of just, it doesn't look as flawless and as smooth as my other concealers. I kind of have to make sure that I blend out a lot of it, apply a little bit more, then blend it out, then do all these things. And I really don't enjoy that part of the process. So I will say after I, you know, set my under eyes and I looked up close in my mirror, it did look a little bit patchy, but I did go in with my pressed powder to kind of make it look a little bit better. And then also one thing about it I will say is it does kind of match the foundation in terms of that lightweight consistency. So if you want a full coverage concealer, this is probably not for you because you do have to build it up. Because I told you guys, when I applied a little bit on my forehead and then I blended it out, I couldn't even see it anymore. But it was because of the powder that I used on top of it. That's what brought, you know, the highlight into it. But by itself, it wasn't doing much for me. So to me, this is like a very everyday concealer if you're trying to do some errands or try to go out and, like, you know, do quick activities. But in terms of like events where I need my concealer to last a long time, I'm not sure if I will gravitate towards this. So you guys can kind of see why I'm kind of in the middle. I really don't know how to feel about this because the end results, it looks good. I won't say it's, you know, creaseless or anything like that. I will say it is waterproof because it does have like that stickiness to it. You can kind of tell what it was set like, but it's just not going to be my favorite concealer to grab, okay? Because I love my Pat McGrath concealer. I told you guys I'm very picky when it comes to concealer because I know what's good out there. And if I told you guys right now to go out and get this, I don't think you guys are going to really enjoy the experience of the concealer. So that's what I'm going to leave with. I'm just going to tell you guys, it's not a bad concealer. It's not a good concealer. It's not going to be one of my favorites, but I don't hate it, okay? You guys can see the pros and the cons. And with that being said, you know, depending on what I told you guys, you can go ahead and try it out for yourself, or you can say like, hey, this is probably not going to be for me. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just torn because I really love the foundation and I want to love this so much, but I just don't feel as excited about it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So yes, that's my thoughts on it. I'm gonna go ahead and wear it throughout the day, and I will let you guys know down below my final thoughts about this concealer. And also part of me does kind of want to test this out tomorrow again and see if my thoughts change. So if it does, I will let you guys know at the end of this video or in the description box below. But this is my first impressions, how I feel about it. Don't hate it, don't love it. So do what you want with that information, okay? But yes, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've tried this concealer out. I haven't watched any video on it, so I'm really excited to see what everybody else thinks about it. I hope they kind of feel like the same way that I do, because that way I know I'm not going crazy, because I love the foundation so much, and I think I just want to love the concealer so much as well, and it's just not, you know, it's just not happening. So yes, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one.